coming up, the Bondi Senate confirmation hearings, and just who should take credit for the Gaza deal. The Senate confirmation hearings are in full flight. The Democrats are trying to tear down the nominees, and it's not going too well for them. Take Pam Bondi, Trump's nomination for Attorney General.
Questions. First, since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No, Senator.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement relating to this kind of conduct?
No, Senator.
First, we have ridiculous questions insinuating that Bondi may have acted in an inappropriate manner sexually. Asking about harassment or assault of a sexual nature. This is pure character assassination by inference with no evidence, and is an appalling display of rank partisanship and attempts at gotchas, as we shall see shortly. If you enjoy this sort of content, please like, share and subscribe. You can also help further by buying a cup of coffee. Next, we have Senator Whitehouse attempting to use Bondi to go after Kash Patel.
Had an enemies list.
Senator, to cut to the chase, you're clearly talking about Kash Patel. I don't believe he has an enemies list. He made a quote on TV, which I have not heard. I saw your sign, or Senator Durbin's sign, about Kash. But I know that Kash Patel has had 60 jury trials as a public defender, as a prosecutor. He has great experience in the Intel Department, Department of Defense. I have known Kash, and I believe that Kash is the right person at this time for this job. You'll have the ability to question Mr. Patel.
And I'm questioning you right now.
Whitehouse pursues the issue of people having an enemies list. But Bondi is way too smart and is very much ahead of Whitehouse. She cuts to the chase and says directly that he's talking about Kash. What does Kash Patel's bona fides have to do with whether Bondi is qualified to fulfill her role as Attorney General? The confirmation hearings are supposed to be about the ability of the nominees for various positions to conduct their duties competently. Asking one nominee about another nominee is utterly inappropriate. And Whitehouse continues.
And it would not be appropriate for a prosecutor to start with a name and look for a crime. It's a prosecutor's job to start with a crime and look for a name, correct?
Senator, I think that is the whole problem with the weaponization that we have seen the last 4 years and what's been happening to Donald Trump. They targeted Donald Trump. They went after him, actually starting back in 2016. They targeted his campaign. They have launched countless investigations against him. That will not be the case if I am Attorney General. I will not politicize that office. I will not target people simply because of their political affiliation.
Whitehouse tries to push Bondi on lawfare. She absolutely slams Whitehouse and points out how the Biden administration went after Donald Trump, a blatant exercise of lawfare. She states that she and the Attorney General's Department will not go after people based on their political affiliation. And of course, that is in stark contrast to what occurred with the Democrats. Quite frankly, this question is very rich, coming from a Democrat who was part of a Democrat team that engaged in lawfare to act all precious and insist that Republicans do what Democrats tell them to do and not behave the way that Democrats did. And White House just digs in further.
I think the concern is that weaponization of the Justice Department may well occur under your tenure. And we want to make sure that that's not the case, that you remain independent, that you remain able to and willing to tell the president no when that's necessary to protect the Constitution and the integrity of the department. So that's where I'm asking these questions.
White House states that his concern is that weaponization of the Justice Department will occur under her tenure. How hypocritical, stating a concern that he thinks might happen versus what actually happened under Biden's Democrats. What White House is concerned about is in fact a risk that materialized under Biden's Democrats. Yet Senator Whitehouse was strangely silent when that risk materialized under Biden. Then we have the blithering partisan hack that is Senator Adam Schiff.
It will also be important that you give good advice to the president. Are you prepared to advise the president not to pardon people who beat police officers?
Senator, as I said, the pardons are at the direction of the president. We will look and we will advise. I will look at every case on a case. Let me finish. On a case-by-case basis.
Okay, good.
And I abhor violence to police officers.
Once again, some blatant hypocrisy, which is situation normal for Schiff. He thinks Bondi should push Biden not to pardon January 6th participants. Once again, strangely, he has been very silent on so many very questionable pardons that Biden gave, not least of all Hunter Biden. You really wonder how they can be so brazen in their hypocrisy and demonstrate such an incredible lack of courage. Yet Schiff continues.
Let me answer that. Let me answer
You were
another question.
censured by Congress, Senator, for comments just like this that are so reckless.
It will also be important for you to be able to preserve the records, the evidence of the department. Are you ready to commit that none of the evidence in the January 6th investigation will be destroyed under your watch?
Senator, I will follow the law. I will consult with ethical officials in the
Do
department.
you see any ethical basis to destroy evidence in the January 6th investigation? Then why can't you answer the question? Why can't you say, I commit to this committee, we will never destroy the evidence in the January 6th investigation? Why can't you give this committee and the American people that assurance?
Are you frightened because evidence was destroyed against President Trump that was false? Is that why you're frightened?
Bondi really slammed Schiff on the January 6 records of the department. Unbelievably hypocritical, given the destruction of January the 6th records by the committee on issues that were false about Trump. This is partisan nonsense, and Schiff really is just about the worst of the worst on this. No shame whatsoever. And then we go to the deal struck on Gaza.
Because I don't think there's any doubt but that Trump's involvement in this, really got it past the first step. It finally closed the deal. This is the art of the deal. Mm-hmm. Trump closed the deal.
Why? What was it specifically about Trump? Why were they more likely to?
Just scaring the hell out of everybody involved.
Geraldo Rivera cuts to the chase on the Gaza agreement. And as he states, Trump closed the deal, in similar fashion to how Reagan closed the deal with a hostage crisis in Iran 44 years ago. This demonstrates clearly how important it is for the president to project strength and make adversaries afraid of what action the US might take. A big problem with Biden was that he was just perceived globally as a somewhat avuncular grandpa, as opposed to someone of strength and determination. Then we have the Democrats' take stated by Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
Why is it that you seem unwilling to extend any credit to Trump for this deal? Couldn't he just have said, hold off until I'm in office?
What I will say is that what we know to be true, what we know this process, how it has moved over the past 8 months, this is a deal that happened under the framework that this president put forward and was endorsed by the world.
Karine Jean-Pierre and the Biden team are singularly unwilling to accept that Trump had anything whatsoever to do with the deal. She states that the process has been in train for over 8 months, and the deal is their framework endorsed by the world. What she refuses to acknowledge is that there was essentially no movement at the station until Trump issued his warning. The truth of the matter, as stated by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, is that it was indeed Trump's strong statement that closed the deal. What do you think about the Democrats' behaviour in the Senate confirmation hearings? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.